Hey guys, so in today's video, I wanted to talk to you and break down this absolutely insane trading strategy that me and everyone in the Discord has been utilizing in order to not only generate insane amounts of profits, but also for us to be able to pass our funded account challenges. Now, as we can see right here, this is a screenshot that I received last night, letting me know that I have just passed phase one of my funded account challenge. And as we can see right here, I posted on April the 29th that I bought a brand new 100k challenge and that I was going to be utilizing my trading strategies in order for me to be able to pass this account. Now, as we can see, I posted an update literally yesterday saying that I passed this account in 3 days. And that was all utilizing this one trading strategy that I'm about to teach you guys. Now, whilst we're on the topic of this trading strategy, this is exactly what we used in our Discord to generate more than 20% in the month of April for myself and everyone in the Discord. As we can see, these are the stats right here. We had 21 winners, 15 losers, and 6 break-even trades with a 58.3% win rate and an overall 20.5% gain on the account. So if you guys haven't signed up to the Discord already, I will leave a link down in the description that you can click on to become part of the community so that you can start taking these trades with us. So without further ado, let's jump straight into this trading strategy. So I've devised a very nice checklist that we can utilize in order to make sure that we are framing up a perfect trade so that every single time we execute, we know that we have marked up a high quality trading setup. So we will go through the rules, we will go through the trading plan, and then I will also break down at the same time a example of how the trade should look when it plays out so that you know you are executing on the most perfect setups. So as we can see, this was the US30 trade that I sent out right here on the 29th. It was just a few days ago, and this was actually the first trade that I took on the funded account, which gave me a nice 2.5 gain on the account. I also took this same setup on the SPY as well, and as we can see right here, I sent this into the Discord. So again, this gave us a nice 3.5% gain to kickstart this week. So having said all of that, let's quickly jump into the analytics behind this trading strategy so that you guys can see I've done my research, I've done my back test, and I've understood exactly how this trading strategy works. And because I've got such a large data set behind me, I can comfortably come on here and tell you about this trading strategy because I know that it is profitable, because as we can see right here, it has a 61.5% win rate over the course of 169 trades. Now, this was taken over a large data set of about 13 months. So this isn't something that I've tested just for a month. This isn't something that I've taken a few trades on. This is something that I've done extensive research on. And as we can see, over the course of 12 to 13 months, we were able to grow this account from 100 grand to $186,000. That's 86.2% gain on the account over the course of 1 year. Now, a 61.5% win rate is incredible in itself. Now, pairing that up with an amazing checklist such as this one will give you the recipe to be able to execute these phenomenal trades that you will be able to utilize going forward, so that way you yourself are able to pass your own funded account challenge. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the rules. So the first rule is that we have no higher time frame bias or point of interest. So what that means is we're not going to be doing a top-down analysis. We're not going to be pointing out the points of interest that are all over the chart. We're not going to be looking at what the higher time frame is doing. We're simply just going to disregard the higher time frame bias altogether. Now, our second rule is that if we are up 2% on the trade, we TP half, so we take half off the table, and then we move to break even to let the rest of the trade run. We have no time restrictions, so this trade can occur at any time up until 3 p.m. After 3 p.m., we don't take any trades. So the cutoff time is 3 p.m. After that, we don't take any trades, and that is UK time. Our fourth rule is that we simply use the 5-minute four-year market structure shift. We're not looking on the 1 minute, we're not looking on the 15-minute, we're simply just sticking on the 5-minute. Our next rule is that we enter on the fair value gap or order block that created the market structure shift. Now, this will come more relevant when we start breaking down a few more examples so that you can understand exactly what I'm talking about when I say the fair value gap or order block that created the market structure shift. We need a minimum of a 1-to-1 risk to reward. That means if we have less than a 1-to-1 risk to reward, we do not execute. 3, 2, 1. Execute, and we leave that trade alone. We come back the next day. And our seventh and final rule is we mark out the Asia highs and lows between the times of midnight and 7 a.m. UK time. Again, that is UK time, so configure this to whatever time frame or time zone you are in the world. For me, it's midnight to 7 a.m. UK time. So let's jump onto our charts so that I can explain to you how it looks when we mark out the Asia highs and lows. So as we can see right here, if I go and grab a vertical line, this right here was midnight. And again, if I put this on the chart when we get to 7 in the morning, right there. So between midnight and 7 a.m., our highest point that price ever reached was up here, and the lowest point that price ever got to was down here. Therefore, our highest and lowest points of the Asia session would be down here and down here. Now, we simply just mark this out with a horizontal line, and that way it makes it easier for us to see when price actually goes and sweeps. So once we mark out the Asia high and low, we now move on to the next step, which is to wait for a sweep of either the high or the low. Now, we are not going to care about what side gets swept. All we're simply going to do is sit on our hands until one side gets swept. So if I replay the chart to here, we come onto our charts in the morning at 7 o'clock. And from there, we simply wait for price to either take out the highs or the lows. Until then, we don't do nothing. We continue with our day. We go and make our coffees. We take our kids to school. Whatever it is that you need to do, you simply continue on with your day, and you set a limit at the high and you set a limit at the low for it to alert you when price crosses. So that's not a limit to execute a trade. That's a limit for price to alert you, for TradingView to alert you. If you click right here, it will give you the option to then go on and set an alert. It won't let me do that right now because price has already gone past this point and we are in replay mode. But if you press the plus button there, it will give you an option to set an alert. Once we've set this alert, we go on about our day. We wait for TradingView to give us the indication that price has now swept the lows. Now, once we understand this information and we see that price has swept the lows, we now come and actively start watching our charts. Now, what is it that we're watching for? Well, if we go back to our trading plan, we've marked out the Asia highs and lows, and we waited for a sweep of either the high or the low. And in this case, the low has been swept. After this, we wait for a 5-minute market structure shift. Now, this is key. We're not going to execute any trades until we have been given a 5-minute market structure shift. Okay, so we're going to wait and we're not going to do anything until price gives us a market structure shift. So as we can see right here, our market structure is doing this. Lower low, lower high, lower low. And as we can see right here, price has finally broken to the upside and given us a market structure shift. So if I mark this out with a few lines so that it makes it easier for us to see, we can see right there, we took out the low. That means we created a new lower low. And then if we come up here and we can see right here, price gave us a higher high. So what price was doing is price was coming down and creating a lower low. Price then came up and created a lower high. Price went down, created a lower low. So the anticipation should be that price would come up, create a lower high, and then a lower low to continue with the trend, right? However, what price did is instead it went up to create a higher high. This signifies that the trend has now changed from bearish to bullish. Therefore, we can now safely assume that price is now wanting to go higher. Therefore, we can identify areas where we can enter the market for price to continue higher. That will be our trade. Therefore, once we've understood that price has given us this market structure shift, we then come here and we tick it off of our trading plan. Now, our next criteria is that we take entry on the order block or the fair value gap that created the market structure shift. So as we can see right here, if I identify this order block, this was the driving force behind price breaking out of this area and creating that market structure shift. So because this was the driving force for price to come up and give us this market structure shift, it is highly likely that price is going to want to come back into this zone before then pushing and continuing on its pro trend direction. Therefore, once we've understood this, we come back here and we identify that this part of our trading plan has been done. Our next step is to take our long position tool. We put our stops just below the low and then we target the opposing liquidity, which in this case would be the Asia highs. So just like that, we've now identified this entire trade schematic that price has given to us. We've gone through our trading plan and we've ticked off everything that we needed to happen in order for us to get a high quality trade. And now once all of this has happened, we now go on and tick off our next bit of the checklist, which is to make sure we have a minimum of a 1-to-1 risk to reward. Now, as we can see right here, this is a 1 to 2.6 risk to reward. Therefore, we can safely tick this off. And we now know that we are in business because the trade is going to get executed. So then we go on to our MetaTraders and we then put this buy limit in place. And then all we do is add in our stop losses, take profit, and we simply go off about our day. Now, again, if you aren't part of the Discord, I would highly recommend going down in the description and clicking to become part of the community, because if you are busy, if you do miss the sweep of either the high or the low, or if you do miss the market structure shift, then I will always be there to send out these trades as and when they happen, so that even if you are busy and you don't get time to check your charts, you will get a notification to say that, look, US30 has now had a market structure shift after sweeping the lows, put in this buy limit, and simply wait for the profits to roll in, just like we did on this day. So once we've executed our buy limit, we now simply sit back and we wait for price to come and tap us in, as it does right there beautifully. And then from there, price just runs straight to the take profit. Look at that. Immediately goes towards our target and we get a nice 1 to 2.5 risk to reward. We go break even after stuck. 3, 2, 1. Structure breaks and we take profit at the opposing liquidity. Now, once all of this has been said and done, we've now executed a flawless trade, and now you can simply just rinse and repeat. So all you need to do is execute these trades on US30, S&P 500, and the NASDAQ, and I can guarantee that you will be able to pass your funded account within the next 30 days if you simply just stick to this one trading strategy. So what I'll do is I'll jump on to another chart and give you another example of how this trade should play out and what we're looking for, so that way it can really solidify this trading strategy and exactly what we need to see in order for us to execute. Right, guys, so if we take a look at the S&P 500 again on Monday the 29th, where I did send out this other buy limit that we had on SPY. So we're just going to go through this checklist one more time so that we can really solidify exactly how this trade should play out. So again, if I grab my vertical line and I place it right here at midnight, and then I take it again and I place it right here at 7 in the morning. So once I've got this, we now come over and we identify the lowest and the highest point within this trading range. So our lowest point would be right here, and then our highest point would be right here. So if I mark these out with a horizontal ray, so the lowest point in this trading range is here and the highest point is right there. So once we've got our trading range, all we simply do is set alerts on the low and the high and wait for price to sweep either side. So we've marked out the Asia highs and lows, and now we're waiting for a sweep of either side. So if I play price on, we can see that price comes and it sweeps the lows. So we've waited for the sweep of the high or the low. In this case, we got a sweep of the low. So now what we're doing is we're waiting for a 5-minute market structure shift. So again, we're on the 5-minute time frame and we're waiting for a market structure shift. So again, before anything happens, if we identify where we are in terms of structure, price has put in this lower low. We've then got this lower high. Price is then put in this lower low. So now in order for us to get a market structure shift, price needs to break this lower high and give us a higher high, so that we can then take an entry from somewhere down here, which should be the higher low, for price to continue and give us a higher high. So that is what we're looking for. And if we are wanting to see a market structure shift, then we need price to break this high right here. So if I play price on, do we get that? Price comes, it fails to break this high, so we're still sitting on our hands, we're not doing anything whatsoever, and then eventually price goes and it breaks out right here. So once price has given us this market structure shift, we can then tick this off, and now our next step is to identify the order block or fair value gap that created the market structure shift. So if we come onto the charts, we can see that right here we've got this beautiful order block that created the market structure shift. So we can now put our entry at the open of this order block, our stops just below the low, and then we always target the opposing liquidity, which in this case is the Asia highs. So once we've done that, we tick it off. We make sure that it's a minimum of a 1-to-1 risk to reward, which in this case is a 1-to-1.29. And then make sure that our take profit is at the opposing liquidity, and we go break even after a structural break. So once all of this has been done, everything has been completed. We've done our analysis. We've identified the trade. I've sent it into the Discord. We place our limits and we sit back. We wait for price to come and tap us in, as it does right there. And then if I play price on, we can see that immediately price then runs straight to our take profit. And look at that. It hit our take profit and then immediately reversed. This is why a take profit is so powerful, because we have to make sure not only do we understand when to enter the markets, but also when we need to exit the markets. But this was the trading strategy as a whole. As you can see, it was able to help me pass my funded account challenge. And we've got the checklist, we've got the rules, we've got the back test. So everything is showing us that this is a super profitable trading strategy. All we need to do is stick to the rules. And again, we trade that on the Nasdaq, the S&P 500 and US 30. So I hope you guys were able to get some value from this entire video. If you were, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And again, if you haven't joined the community, the link is down in the description. But on that note, guys, I hope you got some real good value from this. If you did, please don't forget to share it with a friend, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.